Awesome.
Hey, how you going?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm well, I'm well. So it's a nice stormy evening here in Australia, here on the East Coast. So
Stormy.
yeah,
Oh,
it's that time of year, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. How are
Yeah, I
you?
I guess we'll see. Hopefully the weather will shape up until we hit your shores here. I guess the summer just arrived, so it's gonna be a contrast. Normally, you would go to Australia to hit, get some nice weather, but I guess it's gonna be the other way around. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean maybe by the time you're in Brisbane, I think that's the second stop on the tour.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe in Brisbane it'll be a little bit nicer, but
yeah.
yeah, down around Newcastle, thankfully you're not stopping here, you're just going straight to Sydney.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, get stuck straight into the interview part of it. Smash it out.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to start by introducing yourself for the audience? It sounds better when you say it than I do.
All right. All right. So this is Bjorn from the Night Flight Orchestra.
Nice to have you.
Yep.
So you've got a new album out, Give Us the Moon.
Yep.
Um, we here at the station in particular are really excited. We've had pretty much one song from each of your albums on high rotation since I think the first we put on was Gemini, back in
Hmm.
2017, I want to say.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and man, I like the album. But I'm having trouble picking a song. If there's one
Wow.
that I have to put into high rotation,
All right. Okay. Okay. I understand. So you need my help to pick it.
yeah. Just I've listened to the album and they're all great.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like it is hard to pick one. I mean, one of the singles was Shooting Velvet. Maybe that's a good one.
Did have a great video.
Yeah. And then the Way to Spend the Night. That I think that's an even better video because it's like the band doing some bar hopping, basically. So you should check that out. I don't know. Wait to Spend the Night. Maybe that's better. It's
Yeah,
like if it's like if you mix Gary Moore and Blondie in one song.
I mean that's a winning combination. If
Yeah,
it was
it
Melbourne
is.
Station, I'd go. There's a different song I'd be really hanging for, which
Of
is
course. Of
yeah,
course.
Melbourne
Yeah.
May I.
Yeah. Have
I'm
you been
sure.
playing that one?
Yeah. Look, we put it on air, but I gave it a listen. I think that the crowd in Melbourne at Max Watts is going to be really chuffed for that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's going to be awesome, and they definitely deserve that song because it was a special moment. There's a story behind that. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I can. I
Yeah.
mean, it didn't start too good because it's like we were flying to Australia, our first tour with the Night Flight Orchestra, and we get to Doha, Qatar, to connect there, and then I get a phone call from my mom. She's saying, "I'm sorry, I really had to tell you. I mean, I run some tests and I have breast cancer." And it's like, getting that kind of call, flying to the other side of the world. And it's like I had to keep it together, so many thoughts in your mind on that long flight over and then doing the tour but the crowds, were absolutely amazing and um was making it so much easier. And then, I felt like I was surrounded by family and also with the band, great vibe and then it all sort of culminated in Melbourne where we had like an absolute amazing show and it was just electric. And I kind of, after holding it together, keeping it together, I kind of broke down a bit after the after that show because it was so beautiful and it felt like everything is going to be all right, and yeah, I had to write a song that was, going to be some kind of a tribute to the Aussie crowd and especially Melbourne, because of that show and what I went through and everything. And my mom is fine. She
I'm
so
glad.
yeah, yes. So
Oh,
knock, knock,
very
knock.
good.
But yeah, so there it is. Yeah, it's a special song.
Yeah.
So
Is
we
that
we, we
why?
will for sure play it.
Yeah, great. Is that why you're starting the tour there on May 29?
No, I don't think. I mean, we normally in Melbourne is usually like somewhere in the middle or in the end of the tour, but I don't think we ever start. I mean, I've been to Australia. What is it, 10 times with solo work, And this is gonna be my second time with Night Flight. And I don't have we done Melbourne first ever? I don't think so. So I don't know if I mean, it's we didn't decide it. So I don't
Oh,
know.
of course.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah,
sitting there going like, guys, it's really, really, really important
yeah,
to fly to the furthest away place in Australia that's on the
exactly. Yeah.
Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, it's gonna be a good tour. It's four back-to-back shows and first time in Adelaide as well, so that's cool. Yeah, gonna be awesome.
They need it. They don't get a much. They don't get much out of
No,
Adelaide.
no,
Yeah.
true, true.
I'm sure they're
It's fine.
really, really excited.
Yeah,
Now you mentioned Soil Work before, and I do have a question that's pretty much they're very different bands. We all know that they're very different
yeah.
bands. Um, my question is more about like the songwriting in each band.
Yeah.
Is the process of that kind of similar? Do you have like a same workflow for that, or is it very different? Or do you maybe come up with something that's like just a good song and then see which band it fits?
Yeah. No, I mean, I usually know what I'm writing for. I feel like I have like a night flight hat or a Soilwork vest on. I kind of know what I'm doing and but I mean, then of course you have your sense for melodies, and but as far as I can remember, I haven't really written a melody that I was not sure what it was for. So I feel like I know exactly what I'm doing, and it's so different from each other. At
Oh,
least
totally.
that's yeah, exactly. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm a lucky man. I can be in two established bands in different genres. That's pretty cool. And I get to channel all my inspirations through these bands, and um, it's a really cool situation to be in. It's fantastic. I get to wear a glittery cape and a beret in one of the bands, and then a metal vest in the other one. So what's not to like?
Do you find it like difficult balancing the schedules between the two bands, like the demands of both?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the hardest part. To divide the album cycles and the touring cycles. We have the same booking agent, so that helps. But
Okay.
yeah, it's a tough situation for him to be in as well. But I also need to rest somewhere in between, so there's that. But I think nowadays we're being a bit more selective. We're not really doing let's do 5 weeks in North America and then come home for 2 weeks, and then let's do 5 weeks in Europe, and then we go to Australia, and then we go to Japan. I was like, we don't really do it the same way anymore. So there's more time to rest, and I got a really long rest during COVID. So, but then, when things got back to normal, it was like the floodgates open. It's like, whoa, okay, and both bands need to go out there right now. It's like, so it can be a bit difficult. But then I don't know. It's also sort of a luxurious problem. A lot of bands struggling, and I have two bands in different genres that there's a you know people that there's a demand for. People want us to play. So I mean, I'm very grateful for that as well.
Yeah, and it's a huge feather in your cap to be pretty much at the top of your game across two completely different genres, very different audiences. Um, like, is there much left on your bucket list at this point? Like, what do you really want to get out there and do?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be something, you
Yeah,
always find some, oh, maybe I should do something like that,
yeah.
and that mind is constantly spinning, the music mind. And I don't know. I mean, it would be cool to do something like with a big band with strings and horns. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's like not really crooner album in the same way, but something in the line of that. And that would be really cool. Like acoustic, instruments. I have never really. I'm so used to singing to, you know, uh, electrified instruments, and it would be cool to do something acoustic. I don't know. We'll see. But
I would love to see that. That sounds that sounds really cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
it would
no,
be cool. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, I'm all into that.
Mm,
Yeah, and you've got such a big catalog with both bands, and you've got two bands that are constantly evolving, but Night Flight Orchestra draws so much inspiration from the 70s and 80s, all that glam. You said Gary Moore before. There's a lot of
mm,
Bowie in there. There's a lot of like Jefferson Airplane, like
mm.
a lot of that. Do you ever struggle to go like, I want to keep things fresh while maintaining that, feel and that aesthetic?
Um, I mean, you mean with the Night Flight Orchestra, like to
Yeah,
just like, yeah, I mean, because there's so many influences, and it's really like an open field, you can do. It's very much of a band where you can do whatever you want, but somehow we managed to tie it all together, and it's all making sense in the end.
yeah,
And coming from the metal world, which is where you sort of more locked in a cage, so to speak, which I can also enjoy, and but there's certain limits to what you can do. But with Night Flight, it's like you can just go crazy. It's like we very often sit there and it's like, can we really do that? It's like, yeah, yeah, of course we can. We're the Night Flight Orchestra, and it's there's so many influences, so it's really hard to sort of sum up exactly what's going on there. But um when you have maybe too much freedom, things might not always turn out so great, but usually it does. I feel, or I'd like to think so. But we and that we're able to move between different genres on the same album, but still it's making sense. And that's sort of like a timeless thing. I think that like a tradition that got lost because in the 70s and 80s, a lot of bands and artists had different genres on the same. It could be a reggae song, and the next song is like a progressive 7.5 minute song, and everybody's, oh, that's making perfect sense. So I think that's one of the coolest things about this band. There's quite a few like AOR bands out there, but I think that's making us stick out quite a bit. And I think we're quite brave in that sense as well. Because it's all making sense in the end. At least for us, it does, and it seems like people are sort of getting it as well.
and that's one of the things that I've always appreciated about Night Flight Orchestra in comparison with like a lot of other AOR bands. Like when we're talking album-oriented rock, just saying that
Yeah.
for the listeners. Um, so many of the songs, and I'm not going to name names, but I have some bands that jump to mind. You've got an album, it's album oriented, all the songs sound pretty much exactly the same.
Mm.
I've always just really appreciated the way that you do transcend those genre boundaries and get like a lot of variation into just one album that is somehow, despite wide
Mm.
changes between the parts of the songs and the influences,
Yeah.
very cohesive.
Mm. Well,
It's
thank you for saying that. That's a huge compliment, and that's exactly what we want to do, and that's you can get pretty high on that fact that you can just
do anything.
yeah, move between different genres or whatever, whatever you feel like in the moment, and in the end, you tie it together, which can be a challenge, of course, but we have a brilliant guy in the band, Sebastian. He's one of the songwriters, but he's also mixing our albums, and so big kudos to him as well because he's really tying it all together production wise, and I think that can be also a challenge because I mean each and every song have sort of like their own mix as well, like a personality, but then it needs to be an album. You mentioned album oriented rock. We there's definitely some pride there, putting, releasing merchandise that says "Death to False AOR." We need to live up to that kind of. And yeah, I believe we are, and and so there's definitely some, you know, that's something that we're proud of, but not saying that we always, you know, um, sort of hit it out of the park right away, but yeah, usually it works out.
Great. Look, I've got one last question before we wrap up, and it's one that I like to ask a lot of people. Um, you do a lot of interviews, and every musician has one pet thing that they really want to talk about right now, and nobody ever asks it. It might be, a movie that really inspired you, or it might be, you might have just gotten really into, I don't know, making chairs. What's
Making shit.
what's your chair right now?
Oh, what's my oh, good question. I mean, we can talk about corgis all day long. I'm a proud owner of a corgi dog.
Yeah, no, talk corgis. I'm happy to talk
Let's
corgis
talk
to
some,
close off the
yeah.
interview.
Are corgis popular in Australia? Do you see a lot of them?
Like you do, and every time you do, like I'm sure that you get the same reaction anytime you're walking your corgi, where people are like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
excited.
exactly. Look at those legs. It's like, yeah.
Oh, look at it.
Yeah.
Well, what's your
No,
corgi?
yeah, her name is Anna. I mean, like we have so many friends named Anna, but we got her when she was 4 years old. It's like, can't
You
the
can't
name
change.
can't be Anna. I was like, but then it's like, yeah, but she is Anna. It's like after a while, like we can't change the name. So
Sorry.
it's like, yeah. So there's been some massive confusion over the years, with
And
so many friends. Like, no, the dog Anna, not that Anna. It's like,
oh, that's funny. Well, look,
mm.
I think that's a nice enough place to leave off. I'll
Yeah,
just read off all the dates. You're doing the Overmoon Australia Tour 2025. You're hitting Melbourne May 29, Brisbane May 30, Sydney May 31st, and Adelaide June 1st. I think everybody's really excited for it. That is brought to you by Hardline Media.
brilliant. It's gonna be a good time.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, so are we. Cannot wait.
All right, well, I'll let you get to what I imagine is quite a lot of other interviews.
One more, and that's it. I've been doing 20 interviews the latest week, so
Jesus Christ.
that's good.
It's the monkey's paw thing, isn't it? It's like, oh, you get to be in a successful band, but well, two, but it comes with a
Yeah,
cost.
yeah, that's fine though.
No, all right. Well, enjoy and enjoy the tour.
Thank you so much, and thanks for the support.
All right. See you
All
later.
right, see you soon. Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.